Hello friends, welcome to my channel. You can search my all the educational videos by typing Pravinesh Publication on YouTube. Watch my videos till end. If you like the videos, then please press the subscribe button which is given in the corner. Do not forget to press the bell icon so you will get all the updates. Friends, in this video, if you have any query, any doubt, then you can do comment. Your comment are very valuable to me, so I can improve in my videos. And if you have any doubt regarding concept of the chapter, then you can WhatsApp me on my number. My WhatsApp number is 9016487991. Today, I am going to explain Standard 9 Science, Chapter number 2. Is matter around us pure? Friends, first of all, let us understand the meaning of the heading of this chapter. There are many things around us, and in this generation, we are very conscious about that the given substance or whatever we purchase or whatever we eat or whatever we use, is this pure substance? What is the meaning of pure substance? Friends, everybody has a different definition of this pure substance. For example, the water you drink from your RO, you say that is pure. Somebody will say the water from their aquaguard is also pure because it is passed through some process. And in village, they will say the water from their tap is pure. But here, the definition of pure is different in all three cases. Why? Because in village tap water, there are some minerals. So that is a mixture of water as well as mineral. In aquaguard, there are some minerals are removed, so even we can say that that is a pure water. In RO, there is nothing other than in RO, there is only water particles and only few essential minerals. So here the definition of pure is different for different people. Same as if I say milk, whatever you purchase, is it pure? You will say yes sir, it is pure because it is written on the pouch that it is pure milk. But the same thing, if you ask any scientist, so that scientist will say, no, this milk is not pure because it is a mixture of calcium, some fat molecules, some protein molecules, etc. So, the definition of purity is depend on person to person. Now, let us start this chapter from the text. How do we judge whether milk, ghee, butter, salt, spices, mineral, water, or juice that we buy from the market are pure? Have you ever noticed the word pure written on the packs of this consumable? For a common person, pure means having no adulteration, but for a scientist, all these things are actually a mixture of different substances and hence not pure. For example, milk is actually a mixture of water, fat, protein, etc. When a scientist says that something is pure, it means that all the constitutions particles of that substance are the same in their chemical nature. A pure substance consists of a single type of particles. As we look around, we can see that most of the matter around us exists as a mixture of two or more pure components. For example, seawater, mineral, soil, etc. are all mixtures. So here friends, if we take water, that is distilled water means nothing is added to it, that means no adulteration. Friends, adulteration means what? Mixing of other substance into the given substance is known as adulteration. So if we say H2O, only H2O, that is distilled water, we say that is pure water. So that is pure. But scientists will say no, that is not pure. Why? Because it is a mixture of two elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. So if we ask definition to scientists, on the basis of scientists, they will say what is pure? Only an element is pure. Now, topic 2.1, what is a mixture? Mixture are constituted by more than one kind of pure form of matter known as a substance. A substance cannot be separated into other kind of matter by any physical process. We know that dissolved sodium chloride can be separated from water by the physical process of evaporation. However, sodium chloride is itself a substance and cannot be separated by physical process into its chemical constitutions. Similarly, sugar is a substance because it consists only one kind of pure matter and its composition is the same throughout. Soft drink and soil are not a single substance, whatever the source of substance may be, it will always have the same characteristics properties. Therefore, we can say that a mixture contains more than one substance. Here friends, the word mixture, what is the meaning of mixture? If we say air, so air is also mixture. Why? Because it is a mixture of different gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, helium, argon, neon, etc. Same as if we say milk, so milk is a substance, it is a mixture of fat, protein, etc. Now, topic 2.1.1. Depending upon the nature of the components that form a mixtures, we can have different types of mixtures. Friends, activity 2.1. Let us divide the class into group A, B, C and D. Group A takes a beaker containing 50 ml of water and one spatula full of copper sulfate powder. Group B takes 50 ml of water and 2 spatula full of copper sulfate powder in a beaker. Group C and D can take different amount of copper sulfate and potassium permanganate or common salt, that is sodium chloride, and mix the given components to form a mixture. Report the observations on the uniformity in color and texture. Group A and B have obtained a mixture which has a uniform composition throughout. Such mixtures are called homogeneous mixtures or solutions. Some other examples of such mixtures are 1. Salt in water, 2. Sugar in water. Compare the color of the solutions of the two groups. Though both the groups have obtained copper sulfate solutions, but the intensity of copper of the solution is different. This shows that a homogeneous mixtures can have a variable composition. Group C and D have obtained a mixture which contain physically distinct parts and have non-uniform compositions. Such mixtures are called heterogeneous mixtures. Mixtures of sodium chloride and iron filings, salt and sulfur, and oil and water are example of heterogeneous mixtures. Now friends, here we have two words. These two are important words for this chapter, that is homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixture. Friends, these are two main type of mixtures. We understood what is mixture. Composition of two different substances is known as mixture. Now in that one, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. What is the meaning of homogeneous mixture? Let us understand by one activity. For example, we are making a tea for our friends. For this, I will take milk, water, sugar and tea leaves and boil it, and then after I'll do filtration. Then after I'll give this tea to my friends. Here, for example, there are total 4 friends. So is it possible that the first friend will get only milk, the second friend will get only sugar, third friend will get only water, and fourth friend will get only tea leaves? No, it is not possible. Everybody will get the same type of tea. Here, the composition of tea is remain same throughout each and every friends. Here, after the chemical reaction, you are not supposed to see any particles or different particles of sugar, tea leaves, water or milk separately in the teacup. So here that is called a homogeneous mixture. Again, what is the definition of homogeneous mixtures? If all the constituents particles are soluble in water and they are not visible separately, so they are called homogeneous mixtures. Here composition will remain same throughout. On the other hand, next is heterogeneous mixture. Again, I'll take one example. Let us take a beaker full of water, add some iron nail, some sand particle and some eraser particle. That means you can cut eraser into smaller and smaller part and then mix with all them. Now stir it thoroughly. Now give some part to your first friend, second friend, third friend and fourth friend from this solution. Is it possible that everybody that gain a same number of iron nail, same number of water particle, same number of dust or sand particle that we have taken? No, it is not possible. Somebody will get more number of sand particles and no iron nail. Maybe it is possible. So here again you can see that the composition throughout the mixture. You can see the separately iron nails into this mixture. You can see the sand particles. Why? Because these are not soluble in water. That iron particle, sand particle do not soluble in water. So we can say that the particles are visible through naked eye. So that is a heterogeneous mixture. So this is the main type of mixture, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Friends, on your screen you can see a type of homogeneous mixtures in which in a glass a solution is taken in which all the particle constitutions are not visible and the solutions remain the same, the composition remain the same throughout the solution. Example is ink plus water, sugar plus water, salt plus water, etc. In the next diagram on your screen, you can see the homogeneous mixtures where the constitutions particles are visible and they are separated. For example, oil plus water. Friends, when you mix oil and water, so after some time you can see the two different layers of oil and water. Oil will float on the surface of water and the water will remain in the lower position. Now, activity 2.2. Let us again divide the class into 4 groups A, B, C and D. Distribute the following samples to each group. Few crystals of copper sulfate to group A, 1 spatula full of copper sulfate to group B, chalk powder or a wheat flour to group C, few drops of milk or ink to group D. So friends, activity 2.2 is very important. Here we have taken 4 groups, that is A, B, C and D. Group A, they have taken few crystals of copper sulfate. Group B, 1 spatula full of copper sulfate. Group C, chalk powder or wheat flour. I think so chalk powder and wheat flour is available at your home. You have wheat flour at your home. D, that is few drops of milk or ink. Each group should add the given sample in water and stir properly using a glass rod. Are the particles in the mixture visible? Direct a beam of light from a torch through the beaker containing the mixture and observe from the front. Was the path of the beam of light visible? Leave the mixtures undisturbed for a few minutes and set up the filtration apparatus in the meantime. Is the mixture stable or do the particles begin to settle after some time? Filter the mixtures. Is there any residue on the filter paper? Discuss the result and form an opinion. Group A and B have got a solution. Group C has got a suspension. Group D has got a colloidal solution. So here friends, in this activity, Group A and B, they got solution. Group C, it got suspension and Group D got the colloidal solution. Here we have a 3 main word: solution, suspension and colloidal solution. We will understand about these 3 in the chapter. In the figure, you can see the diagram 2.2, that is of filtration. Now we shall learn about solution, suspension and colloidal solutions in the following section. Topic 2.2. What is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more substances. You come across various types of solutions in your daily life. Lemonade, soda water, etc. are all examples of solutions. Usually, we think of a solution as a liquid that contains either a solid, liquid or a gas dissolved in it. But we can also have solid solutions, that is alloys, and gaseous solutions, that is air. In a solution, there is a homogeneity at the particle level. For example, lemonade tastes the same throughout. This shows that particles of sugar or salt are evenly distributed in the solution. So here friends, what is the meaning of solution? That is a one type of homogeneous mixtures. This A and B, they got the homogeneous types of mixtures. Here particles are spread throughout the solutions evenly. As I said, if we make a tea and give it to our friends after filtration, so all will taste the same. It is not like that somebody will taste only milk, somebody will get the taste of only sugar, somebody will get the only taste of tea leaves. No, that is not possible, because the composition of all the constituents particles remain same throughout the solution. So here group A and B, they got solution, and that is homogeneous types of solution. Now alloys. Alloys are homogeneous mixtures of metals and cannot be separated into their components by physical method. But still, an alloy is considered as a mixture because it shows the properties of its constitutions and can have a variable composition. For example, brass is a mixture of approximately 30% zinc and 70% copper. Friends, on your screen you can see the figure of brass, which is a 30% zinc and 70% copper. Now, what is alloy? Friends, in the previous era, that means many years ago, people are using the utensils, kitchen utensils made up of iron. But we know that when iron reacts with water, it will be rust, and that creates some lower strength of that iron utensils. So then after we are using stainless steel. In this generation we are using stainless steel. Why we are using stainless steel? Because stainless steel is a mixture of iron, chromium and carbon and some other metals. Here friends, when you react this stainless steel with water, it do not corrode. So this is the alloy of iron, chromium and carbon, that is known as stainless steel. A solution as a solvent and a solute as its component. The component of the solution that dissolves the other component in it, usually the component present in larger amount, is called solvent. The component of the solution that is dissolving the solvent, usually present in lesser quantity, is called the solute. So here friends, now again two words, solvent and solute, you need to underline these two words and understand properly. When you mix two substances, for example, if we mix sugar into water, we have taken only 1 spoon of sugar and 1 liter of water. So here sugar is dissolved in the water, so sugar is in less proportion and water is in more proportion. So water is known as solvent and sugar is known as solute. So here two words, solute and solvent. If we mix two substances, the substance which is in less quantity is known as solute and the substance which is in more quantity is known as solvent. Simplified, we can say that solute is always dissolved in solvent. So friends, underline these two important words, that is solute and solvent. And whenever we mix solute and solvent, we will get the composition known as solution. Now examples. First, a solution of sugar in water is a solid in liquid solution. In this solution, sugar is a solute and water is a solvent. Second, a solution of iodine in alcohol known as tincture iodine has iodine as the solute and alcohol as the solvent. Friends, tincture iodine, that means the mixture of iodine and alcohol. Third, aerated drinks like soda water etc. are gas in liquid solution. This contains carbon dioxide gas as a solute and water liquid as a solvent. Fourth, air is a mixture of gas in gas. Air is a homogeneous mixture of a number of gases. Its two main constituents are oxygen, that is 21%, and nitrogen is 78%. The other gases are present in very small quantities. Now let us understand the properties of a solution. A solution is a homogeneous mixture. The particles of a solution are smaller than 1 nm, that is 10 raised to -9 meter in a diameter. So they cannot be seen by naked eyes. Because of very small size particles, they do not scatter a beam of light passing through the solution. So the path of the light is not visible in the solution. The solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. The solute particles do not settle down when left undisturbed, that is, solution is stable. Now friends, topic 2.2.1, concentration of a solution. In activity 2.2, we observe that group A and B obtain different shades of solutions. Why? Because group A took less crystals of copper sulfate and group B took 1 spatula full of copper sulfate. So we understand that in a solution, the relative proportion of a solute and solvent can be varied. Depending upon the amount of solute present in a solution, it can be called a dilute, concentrated or a saturated solution. Dilute and concentrated are comparative terms. In activity 2.2, the solution obtained by group A is dilute as compared to that obtained by group B. Here friends, again we have three new words: dilute, concentrated and saturated solution. First of all, what is the meaning of dilute solution? If we take less solute and more solvent, so that is called a dilute solution. If we take more proportion of solute, that means if you dissolve more sugar into water, so that is called concentrated solution of sugar. And saturated solution. What is the meaning of saturated solution? Friends, take a glass full of water, add 1 spoon of sugar into it, you can dissolve the sugar, again add 2 more spoon of sugar and stir it, again you can dissolve in it. You are not supposed to see any particles of sugar, that means the sugar is dissolved into the water. Now if you add more sugar, so it will not dissolve into the water. Why? Because now there is no space left between the water particles which can take by the sugar particles, so no more sugar can be dissolved in that water, and that is called saturated solution of sugar. Again, what is the definition of saturated solution? No more solute can be dissolved in solvent is known as saturated solution. Now friends, let us understand the concentration of solution. There are various ways of expressing the concentration of solutions, but here we will learn only two methods. First, mass by mass percentage of solution, that is mass of solute upon mass of solution into 100. Second, mass by volume percentage of solution, that is equals to mass of solute upon volume of solution into 100. So friends, by these two formula we can calculate the concentration of solution. In textbook, one numerical is given in example. Let us understand. Example 2.1. A solution contains 40 gram of common salt in 320 gram of water. Calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of the solution. Here friends, first of all we need to write the detail. As I said, whenever we have a numerical, we need to write all the detail. So here in example 2.1, mass of salt, that is solute, is given that 40 gram, and mass of water, that is solvent, is equals to 320 gram. Here friends, why I took salt as a solute and why water as a solvent? Because the proportion of salt, that is the weight of a salt, is 40 gram and weight of water is 320 gram. It is less, so that's why it is solute, and it is more, so that's why it is solvent. Now we need to calculate the concentration of salt solution. So therefore, concentration of salt solution in percentage, that is equals to 40 upon 40 plus 320 into 100. Why friends? 40 here in numerator we need to write the mass of solute, that's why it is 40. In the denominator we need to write the mass of solution prepared. So here when we prepare a salt solution with water, so total mass is 40 plus 320, so that is 40 upon 360 into 100, and if you do this calculation you will get answer 11.1 percentage. So this is the concentration of a salt solution. So friends, in this lecture I'll explain some basic of this chapter number 2. In that one we understood about the homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture, and some properties about solutions and numerical. So you need to now read the textbook thoroughly, and if you have any doubt then you can WhatsApp me on my number. Thank you.